You ever thought and you think, where the heck did that thought come from? Or you say something and you think to yourself, why did I say that? Or the worst is when you do something so stupid that it makes you think, who the hell was that was doing that, right? So I had one of those experiences the other day, and it got me thinking about who is the real self? Who is the real Tim? And in other people, who is their true one self? And there's an old story in Islam about a king who goes to a sort of a fair, and there's an archery contest. And the king says, I'm going to win the stuffed animal. I'm going to hit the bullseye. And his aides say, no, king, you'll embarrass yourself. You'll embarrass yourself. Don't do it. And he goes, no, I will do it. And he takes his first shot, misses by 20 feet. And he says, I'm going to try again. And they say, no, king, you're embarrassing yourself. And he says, no, that was the shot of a hasty man. They say, don't do it again. Everyone's seeing you. You're looking silly. And he takes his next shot, misses by 40 feet. And they say, king, let's go. We can't have you looking like this. And he says, no, that was the shot of an arrogant man. He says, I'm going to try again. And he takes his shot, bullseye, wins the teddy bear, and walks away. And his aides say, king, if the first shot was the shot of a hasty man, and the second shot was the shot of an arrogant man, who was the third shot? And he goes, well, that was me. So we like to think of ourselves as only the best versions of ourselves and not those bad versions of ourselves. But the truth is, what I realized, is that all of those are ourselves, right? There is no one true self. So have you ever had a friend who dated somebody and you thought they're not themselves around that person? Now, maybe that wasn't a good relationship and maybe they felt stifled and couldn't express themselves. But sometimes we see that and we think that that person's not themselves around their partner, but maybe they're not themselves around us. So my brother's best friend in high school was really sarcastic with my brother, and it was really fun and interesting, and they would joke a lot, but I'm sure it was also quite exhausting. And he ended up dating a girl who he's now married to with 2 lovely children. And at first my brother said, oh, Will isn't himself around his girlfriend. And I just thought, well, maybe he's not himself around you. Like, I don't know if I could be that way forever. So there's not one true self. Will was himself around Jeff, and Will was himself around his girlfriend, Jess. They were just 2 different versions. He liked to relate to people differently. So Ajahn Brahm tells a story where even though he's the abbot and the most senior monk, he still gets down, gets dirty, and mixes concrete when they have to build something. So they were building a new building on their property, and he was just covered in dirt and dust and just really gross, and he's, of course, the senior abbot. And this woman came in a really expensive dress with lots of expensive jewelry, and she looked very proper, and she said, I'm here to see the abbot, Ajahn Brahm. And of course, monks are very mindful, so he kind of read her demeanor in her mind and realized that she probably wouldn't like seeing him in his present state. So he said, if you go to the front, he'll probably be there in about 15 minutes. So he went and got some fresh robes and showered, and he came and he gave a nice talk, and the woman never recognized him. And she said, you have a beautiful monastery here. You gave a really nice talk, and you're a really good monk, but I saw some monks that were really dirty, and monks really shouldn't be like that. And he said, well, I'll talk to them later, ma'am, which he did. He often talks to himself. So who's the real Ajahn Brahm? The very proper abbot, the senior leader of the monk, or the boy, essentially, who still gets down on his knees and builds, mixes concrete, and gets in the dirt and plays? They both are. So rather than thinking of one true self, not clinging to any one identity, when we're acting in a way that we say isn't ourself, what we're really doing is acting in a way that isn't in accordance with our values. So if you take Ajahn Brahm, for example, both giving a nice talk to a woman and being proper and getting down and mixing concrete, those are both in accordance with his values of compassion and kindness and mindfulness. In both cases, he's doing things that he values and he is being himself. So don't think that you have to be a certain way. That's clinging to an identity. And what I think we would be better off doing is clinging to our values, our true core values. Don't try to find your core self. Try to find your core values, and then you can act however you want given the situation, as long as it is in accordance with those values. So maybe it means getting on the ground and being super silly, and in another context, maybe it means standing up, dressing properly, speaking properly, and being very serious. In any case, you can be whoever you want, and it frees you up. It will make you far more self-accepting. So don't think of any one true self. Find and create the multiple selves that you want to be in accordance with your values. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.